Alafia, friends and family. So today, I would love to talk to you guys about something that I'm very passionate about, that is very prevalent in the spiritual community. It may even be sweeping the spiritual community as we speak right now at this very moment. And if you have clicked on this video, then you probably need to hear this. And if you really are worried about this, you need to hear this. You need to hear this. And this is, okay, I'm gonna get to the point in a second. Just give me 1 second. But this is something that I'm very passionate about as someone who has been in this game for a minute, who introduced spirituality at a very young age, you know, all those other kind of things. The only thing that is worse than someone who has been cursed or someone who has been hexed is someone who is obsessed with getting cursed or getting hexed. Let me say that again. The only thing that's worse than someone who has actually been hexed or cursed or whatever the case is someone who is obsessed with getting cursed. Why? Because when you start to have that obsession, number one, you're already positioning your mind. Your subconscious mind is really positioning this, but in all layers of your mind, you're already positioning someone to be more powerful than you. That's number one. If you're over here like, oh, did someone send me something? Is something on me? You're already positioning yourself in a lower caliber than whatever else you think is out there, whoever else you think is out there. You have to understand that this world is mental. Okay, so what that means is the things that also you believe, the things that you feed into, the things that you focus on, the things that your attention is really fixated on will become your reality. And so not only, number one, are you putting someone else's power over your own, but you're also putting it in your mind that this is your reality. I used to be a reader, you guys know that. Put that down when I realized people don't really want readings. They just want to be told, you know, that everything's going to be okay. I'm actually here to help you make everything okay, but that's another story. Used to be a reader. I've read hundreds of, probably close to thousands of people at this point, because I was a reader for years and years and years. On top of that, I did events like Essence and things like that, where I read dozens of people in the span of an hour. But met so many people who this is something that they're really fixated on. This is something that they're really afraid of. And the things that you become the most afraid of really become your reality, because you've already mentally positioned yourself to be subordinate to whatever you are afraid of. Okay. And so I get so many questions. I did a Q&A on Instagram the other day, and you guys asked me some questions. I got 3 questions from somebody asking questions about, when someone's been hexed, how do you know? Number one, I need you to, first of all, really sit down and understand that you are the center and the creator of your reality. Again, you are the center and creator of your reality. Can we actually put that in the comments? I am the center and the creator of my reality. Ashe. And so with that being said, you have to just really understand, my love, that anything that you believe is true will become true. So if you are obsessing and fixating over getting hexed, if you are obsessing and fixating over how people want to pull you down, how people want to destroy you, how people, whatever the case is, then that will become your reality. That will literally become your reality. We're talking about on Patreon timeline jumping, and before we could even talk about timeline jumping, I had to break down how your beliefs actually physically change your reality. If you guys have heard of the double slit experiment, that's what I broke down on Patreon this past week. And on that experiment, literally, they found that photons literally change behavior. Actual photons in 3D reality, they change actual behavior based on your observation of them. And so we can begin to understand too that your perception of your reality literally changes how reality is for you, your experience of reality. Very, very simplified thing. If you want to dive deeper, we're talking about timeline jumping all month on Patreon. It's called Leap, but that's another story. And so I say all that to say, I want you, before you go into that fixation mode, that obsession mode, before you get into that mode where you're like, am I being hexed? Am I being hexed? I want you to first ask yourself, how am I pedestalizing what I am afraid of? How am I pedestalizing what I am afraid of? We do that all the time with so many different things, right? We do that all the time, all day. We have these beliefs going on in our head. Oh, there's no good men. Oh, capitalism is bad. Sure, some of these things have truth to them. As you guys, in the last video about acceptance, everything has truth to them. Yes, capitalism is bad. Yes, the what's going on with the men right now, we need healing. Everybody needs healing. But at the same time, when you fixate on something, when you fixate on a belief, that becomes all that you see. And so then you curse yourself, you hex yourself by being obsessed with and being obsessed over if someone has hexed you, if someone has cursed you. Now, I do want to bring a little bit of balance into this. I do want to bring a little bit of nuance to this. 100%. There is energy that everyone is always sending us. That is what's creating our reality. That is what is creating our reality experience. And especially if you are someone who is becoming, more and more self-aware, really stepping into who you are, you may start to become, quote unquote, a target for people who, want what you have. 100%. And the key is not ignoring the bad energy, quote unquote, the negative energy that we are being sent. And I always say quote unquote because you have the ability to alchemize whatever you're being sent. The key is not ignoring these things, but the key is recentering your attention, awareness, and focus to a point where your aura is clear, your mind is clear, your spirit is clear. Now, what does that mean? Before we even ask those questions about, oh, someone's sending me bad juju, someone's sending me a hex, whatever the case is, have you been up to part with your spiritual baths? Have you touched the ground, no feet, no socks, to nature in the past 7 days? Have you cleansed your home lately? Have you folded those clothes in the corner? Have you dealt with the clutter that's in that closet, right? All of these things create the energetic environment that we're in. And so when we have quote unquote bad energy in the house, even when we have bad energy on us, whatever the case is, we have to first really reassess our spiritual hygiene, our energetic hygiene, first and foremost, right? So again, have you cleaned up that junk closet? Have you been taking your salt baths? Have you been in nature lately? Have you cleansed your aura, cleansed yourself? Have you just taken a bath in general? I mean, you don't even have to have nothing but your intention, your ashe, and your body and your spirit, okay? Sit your ass in that bath, relax, cleanse, maybe say a prayer, speak to the divine, really connect in with your true being. Have you done that lately? Have you done that lately? Have you done a floor wash lately? If you're wondering, how do I do all this? There's plenty of free resources. If you want me to answer that question, you already know. Patreon has hundreds of recipes, but that's another story. Patreon's been online since like 2020, so 1,000 posts on there, but that's another story. Anywho, plenty of people who have done many different other free resources too on YouTube if you would like to check that out about how to really energetically cleanse your space. But, are you doing that necessary groundwork to ensure that your aura is clean and cleansed, that you are clear? Have you been connecting with the divine? Have you been connecting with your ancestors? Have you been connecting with your angels? Have you really tapped into yourself, your joy, your happiness? Have you really, taken some time and said, hey, I'm gonna be more creative, or I'm gonna, do something that makes my inner child happy. I'm gonna, sit and do some finger paints, or I'm gonna go outside and, play outside. I'm gonna have some fun, right? Have you really sat down and done that work to maintain your aura. And all of these things together really help to create our spiritual hygiene, our energetic hygiene, that aspect of cleansing and clearing, right? And also that aspect of filling up your cup. Have you done that? Before you come to a spiritualist, before you come to anybody, have you taken those necessary steps and precautions to just say, hey, am I grounded? Am I clear? Because when someone does send us energy, and people are sending us energy all the time, that's the fact of the matter. We live in the social media age, but when someone does send you energy, you know what's really gonna make it stick a lot more? What's really gonna make it stick a lot more like solidly is if you're ungrounded, if you're not tapped in with yourself, if you're not tapped in with your energy, if you're not tapped in with your ego and your ancestors. Mojubatu are Egun who cover us and protect us from the things that are unseen, right? But you stay in that space of clarity and clear energy by staying ready and never having to get ready. Because when you become obsessed with the thing that you're afraid of, you become more susceptible to experiencing the negative effects of whatever idea that you are pedestalizing. So I wanted to say that because this is a really important point. And I wanted to just really put y'all on game for just a moment, because you create your own reality in all aspects. And it's really frustrating to see so many beautiful creators, visionaries, builders, activators, disruptors become so obsessed with something that they're co-creating. And this is with all aspects, right? Before I go out and I say, I hate this, I hate that, have I done the necessary work to dismantle that within my own reality, right? Even if we're talking about something such as capitalism, I hate capitalism. So, right. But do you reach out to your friends when you need a ride instead of, paying for that Uber, ordering that Uber, right? Do you do the necessary steps in your community to maybe create some type of, create more systems where, we don't have to pull out our wallet for everything? Do you lend a helping hand to your neighbor? Do you create those necessary boundaries? Do you maintain those necessary boundaries for us to begin to dismantle capitalism in our current environment right now? So it all starts, how do we get to capitalism? It all starts with the small things, right? Do I do these things within myself and my own relationship with myself, or my own relationship with my community or my environment, so that I don't have to be so frustrated to a point where I begin to obsess and pedestalize the thing that I say that I don't want to experience? We have so much more power than we think. And I think that's the major message of this video that I really wanted to say, and I really wanted to get across. You guys, obviously I'm on a different camera, I'm on my GoPro. I had to just shoot this message out into the void to whoever needs to hear this. But have you folded those clothes? Before you ask a spiritualist, am I being hexed? Have you folded the clothes in the corner? I see you. And I also see them clothes that you said you was gonna fold. Have you washed them dishes? Okay, right? Have you gone through your junk drawer? All right, so we're going to be talking a lot more about subconscious beliefs, undoing negative belief systems, really doing that deep foundational work. I want to come out with something free, completely free for you guys, a free training or a free class or a free ebook or something like that, where we really talk about that foundational work, because this is the work that really helps us, really conquer anything. And this is not just when it comes to manifesting money, abundance, love, peace. This is actually when it comes to all aspects of your life, is really being able to watch yourself, watch your mind, observe your mind, and begin to shift out of obsessing over the things that you do not want to experience, so that you begin to co-create with the divine. All right. Is there anything else that I want to say? One more thing, and if you made it all the way to this video, put a sponge emoji, and I want you to do them dishes too. But put a sponge emoji if you made it all the way to the end of this video. But I want to say one more thing, right? Little do we know, maybe you made this connection, maybe you didn't, whatever that we're experiencing, there's pleasure in it. Okay, now what does that mean? That means that the beliefs, that even the negative beliefs that we hold, you guys already know if you've taken some of my classes, negative beliefs also work on a reward system, but I've learned to deepen this concept through the erotic. Okay, what am I about to say? Well, if you are holding a negative belief really strongly and you're like, I don't know why I can't shake this negative belief. I don't know why I can't let this go. The chances are you can't let this negative belief go because your subconscious mind or some layer of you is finding a lot of pleasure in it. There's pleasure in feeling like someone else has power over you and can dictate what happens in your reality. There's pleasure, right? Because maybe the pleasure is maybe someone has more responsibility over my life, and maybe that can, that alleviates some of the responsibility from me when it comes to really taking the reins over what I experience, right? There's always pleasure. There's never, we think that it's pain, but underneath that pain, many times, the things that we experience in our reality and the things that we uphold in our reality, we uphold these things because our mind is getting some type of pleasure from it. And so then the question that I have to ask you is, the things that you're done with experiencing, you don't want to experience, but you're still finding yourself in those same cycles, what pleasure am I finding from this? What pleasure am I finding from this situation, this circumstance, right? There's always a sneaky little way, right? Sneaky little way that these negative beliefs really stay embedded in our mind, and it's through the reward system. That's one of the sneakiest ways, is through pleasure. And so maybe you're finding a lot of pleasure in thinking that somebody else could hex you because maybe it makes you feel like you're not so responsible for reality than you thought. Right? I love you, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.